Thank you. We are back with you. The next issue we want to talk about here quickly is President Weah's invitation to the African Summit. So, what is actually the African Summit? What is this African Summit all about? Hey, I have forgotten a major piece of this issue with the Unity Party Convention. At the Unity Party Convention, Joseph Yimam Bouaka spoke. This is very significant. I can't leave it out. It is very significant. So when Joseph Bouaka was given the opportunity after everything ended, he spoke. Mr. Bouaka said a lot of things. He said that voters' anger against President Weah in 2023 will prevent him from rigging the election. So this is Mr. Bouaka saying that President Weah is not going to rig the election of 2023 or 2023 election. President Weah is not going to rig it because the voters are angry. That is why President Weah will not rig it. What kind of logic is that? Because the people are angry, President Weah is not going to rig the election. Because when he rigs the election, the people will be so angry that, is he suggesting that President Weah, when he rigs the election, the Liberian people will get in the street and go after him and run him out of the country? That it is a known fact that is guaranteed to happen? And so President Weah, knowing that, will not rig the election? What kind of logic is that? Does it actually make sense that President Weah will not rig the election because the people are angry with him? I'm sure the people of Lofa, some of them have been angry with President Weah, right? So I really don't know. I don't want to go into details here, but what is the logic there? What is Mr. Bouaka saying here? Now, he said many citizens are furious, but they are silent about their disapproval of the president and are waiting for the right time to kick him out or to strike back. So he said the voters are angry. They are very furious. The reason why they are silent right now about their disapproval is because, they don't see anything that's going to happen if they should express any frustration right now. So they are waiting for election to strike back. He said a lot of people are disgruntled, but keeping quiet and lying low. Our people are suffering terribly, and now they are being sold into slavery. Joseph Bouaka speaking right there. He said, everyone knows my track record of inviting and attracting good team and giving them the opportunity to work professionally. Liberians are tired of leaders who cannot think big and walk big. Joseph Bouaka is saying he can think big and walk big. Folks, do you know Mr. Bouaka having a history of thinking big and walking big? What has been his big, thinking? How big has he worked? Is walking big just being vice president of the Republic of Liberia? Is that the walking big he talking about? As vice president, what did he deliver for Liberia that Liberians remember? So talking about thinking big, is that his statement about think Liberia, love Liberia, and rescue Liberia? Is that the thinking big? I really don't see how Bouaka is a big thinker and how is this big walker that he walks so big. Maybe because he has, managed to, hold a big position, head of FPRC, head of FPMC, agriculture minister, and non-ambassador of Liberia. Is that the working big he talking about? Because working big should be somebody who has been able to deliver a lot of big things for the people of Liberia. When he served as vice president, I don't know about any huge thing that went to Lofa County. The road to Lofa County has been a challenge. Lofa County, I'm not sure they have any reliable electricity or got any reliable electricity during their time in power. So what is the big work that he's talking about? I don't see it. Maybe somebody can help me. And he talked about that he has the track record of inviting and attracting a good team. What is Joseph Bouaka's track record of inviting and attracting, a good team? In 2017, the team he put together was a bad team. His choice for VP was a bad choice. that contributed to his defeat. What kind of good team he had at the time. I didn't pay attention too much to his team at the time because I was very hungry. But when I came back and I went to the record, I didn't see a very big team that he had together. And I may be wrong here, but help me out here. Does Joseph Boakai has a track record of putting a good team together and working professionally? That is the argument Uncle Joe is making. He said defeating President Weah would be a cakewalk. In other words, it's almost like saying a walk in the park for the Unity Party in 2023 because citizens themselves won't change. So he said that the only reason he's going to defeat President Weah is because the citizens won't change. And that this election would be a cakewalk. You know cake, how you can eat cake? When you go to the cake to get a piece to eat, it's easy, right? The cake is already big. It's sweet with the cream on it. The sugar is on top of it. You just take a knife and cut a piece and you're ready. As soon as you put it in your mouth, you know, it just melts in your mouth. So he said, this election will be a cakewalk. It's just like somebody going to the kid and grabbing a piece and eating it. That is how easy it's going to be. The reason, because the Liberian people themselves won't change. Is he suggesting that he does not have to do anything? He just have to chill? And the people have seen enough of President Weah incompetence? Is that why he's betting on? Because the last time I checked, Joseph Boakai, put a bet on the people of Lofa that Weah is not doing well enough, that he has the name recognition, and he's from Lofa County, and that it was a foregone conclusion that the Unity Party was going to win Lofa County. What happened? That bet did not materialize for Joseph Boakai. Is he making a risky move here with this kind of statement coming from him? I would have loved him to say that we will fight for every vote. We will work to earn every vote in every county. We will go to every village and every hamlet. We will talk to every citizen in and out of Liberia to earn their vote. But he's saying the people won't change. The people are tired. President Weah has done everything wrong. So it will be a cakewalk. Is he taking a risk here? Is he trying to get complacent here just as the Unity Party was complacent in Lofa County and they got the shock of their life? He's talking about President Weah is not going to cheat. Some people believe that the election that took place in Lofa County, there was some form of cheating that went on. Some people believe that very strongly. And the temptation to believe that is strong because if you look at the way the numbers were coming, the National Election Commission tallied and all that candidates appearing twice, and all those things, if you do a deep dive and investigate, chances are that you will believe, some form of cheating went on. I'm not sure Lofa people in their majority are happy with President Weah. I'm sure many of them are furious. But if this theory that there was cheating went on is any true, then he cheated anyway. Then the people anger did not stop him from cheating. If, I continue to say if, this is an analysis. So for Boakai to be betting on all the people so angry, so President Weah is not going to rig the election, I think it's a gamble that he's trying to play. And he went on to say, President Weah has become politically weak after squandering the goodwill the Liberian people had accorded him in 2017 presidential election. Mr. Boakai will not leave the war squandering. After he said the Unity Party squandered opportunity, maybe he has an argument here that we as a Unity Party, we squander opportunities. That is why we did not win the election in 2017. So President Weah, like the Unity Party, Mr. Boakai is arguing that Mr. Joshua is squandering a lot of goodwill the Liberian people have given him. So on that basis, he will not win the election. Because just as we Unity Party squander opportunity, the Liberian people did not elect us, President Weah is squandering so much goodwill, so the Liberian people would not vote them. And could it mean that he does not necessarily have to, he does not necessarily have to do anything much? And since Unity Party has squandered opportunity and got kicked out, Joshua is squandering goodwill, Joshua is going to get kicked out. That is what Joseph Boakai is saying. Then finally he said, I will definitely beat him this time. he has wasted a lot of his master's goodwill. He said Joshua has wasted a lot of his goodwill given to him by the Liberian people, and so he will definitely beat him this time. I will be ready from day one should the Liberian people elect me as president in 2003. I mean 2023, not 2003. In 2023. So Mr. Bwaka is saying if the Liberian people elect him, he will be ready on day one to work for the Liberian people. And that Weah has squandered a lot of goodwill, and he's definitely going to beat him this time. So, folks, that will do it for the Unity Party. We will take a commercial break. When we come back, we will be looking into the CDC government is blowing the trumpet of President Weah's invitation to the African Summit. What do we make of that? Stay tuned, folks.
What if money can do? What if money can do? What if money can do? Well, what if money can do? What if money can do? What if money can do?
This August, the All Liberian Unity Festival comes alive in New York City, USA. The 3-day event will run from August 26th to the 28th. It promises to be a whole weekend of festivities with top Liberian artists rocking the stage. Activities to include county meet soccer games, red, white, and blue welcome on the boat, the red carpet award night, and the Invincible 11 the Mighty Barrow will be climaxing the weekend as we barbecue together. Come and see the Lofa Judem, the Bassa Judem, the Pella Judem, Nimba Judem, the Big Time Judem, the Grand Judem, and the Congo Judem, the December Judem, plus all other Judem rocking the boat and the award nights, including the Black American Judem. Don't forget our series Judem, and the NGO Judem will be there too. What are you waiting for? Do your reservations now and be part of the first ever Unity Festival in the city of New York. Come rocking your national colors and repping your county. Our jerseys will be outsold. For more information and reservations, contact 9299556227.
What if money can do?
All right, folks, we are back with you. We will go into our final issue here and then open the phone line very quickly for you. We will be as brief as possible on this one. The second issue we are here to provide analysis for is President Weah U.S. African Summit invitation. The CDC is celebrating what they are considering as a breakthrough for the CDC government to sit with Washington, to sit with a U.S. president, something that the CDC has been lobbying. The CDC has spent pretty close to $3 million just to get the White House attention, and the U.S. government is yet to send an official invitation to Liberia's President George Weah. This is something that is unprecedented. The last time a Liberian president did not get an invitation from the White House, from the U.S. government when we had Charles Taylor. And it was obvious Charles Taylor broke jail. I mean, he was in jail yet and left. He became a rebel leader. He killed Liberians. And his government, was one of the worst government we had. And so, owing to the fact that Charles Taylor had terrible human rights records, he was seen as brutalizing people, chasing political enemies, killing people. After he done that during the war years, he was not satisfied, and he even sponsored a rebellion in Sierra Leone that contributed to the death of Sierra Leoneans in the tune of 50,000. So the U.S. government, other than inviting Charles Taylor, they had sanctions on him. They had economic embargo on Charles Taylor. So that was it. Now, Doe, who at some point too became a dictator, and even if you look at how Doe came to power, he came to power through a bloody coup, and yet got invitation from the U.S. government. he meant Ronald Reagan. All right. And then Ellen Johnson Sirleaf got an invitation from Barack Obama. I believe Ellen Johnson Sirleaf also met George Bush. And I think George Bush visited, not I think for sure, George Bush visited Liberia during Ellen's time. So Ellen, as Liberia president, then met 2 U.S. presidents. But this is George Weah, who got elected democratically. 5 years now, he has not gotten an invitation from the U.S. government. This is unprecedented. Liberia's president always get an invitation. Why this time? So there has been a political nightmare for the CDC government. And the CDC has spent thousands and even close to millions lobbying. Nathaniel Mackey and Samuel Tuah made 2 visitations here trying to do everything. They have not gotten an invitation from the White House. Right now, the U.S. government is hosting an African summit and is inviting all African leaders, or most African leaders to put it right. And Liberia is one of the African countries that has been invited. In other words, President George Weah of Liberia is one of the African leaders who has been invited by the U.S. government. So this invitation, this event is about America hosting African leaders or African countries. It is different from the U.S. government inviting a Liberian president. The summit is about Africa. It is about African leaders coming to the table to discuss how the U.S. government will collaborate with Africa. And so Liberia being an African nation, Liberian president being an African president, is being invited. This is different from the U.S. government inviting Liberia's president to discuss matters concerning Liberia. The U.S. government is having an event, a summit, to see how it can engage Africa. And so he needed to invite African countries. So, but we see the government is saying this is a success. Can the president of Ethiopia say that? Can the president of Africa say that? Can the president of Sierra Leone say that this is a success? This is about African. This is a meeting of African leaders with the U.S. government. So it is different. But then, to say more to that, let's get the reason why the USA inviting these African leaders. That is key. Let's look at that. Now, folks, the U.S. government is trying to counter China's influence in Africa. China has been investing in Africa, and of late, Russia is also extending its international strength in Africa. China is investing heavily. China is in all kinds of trade deals with many African countries. And because of that, we know that most challenge products are in Africa. And China is even trying to find a way where African leaders or African countries that are into production to be able to send some of their products to China too. America has been left out. It's like America have not had interest in this partnership with Africa. So China, has been, showing its strength in Africa, something the Chinese government has been benefiting from in terms of trade, whereas the U.S. is being left out all these many years. So folks, talking about that, what is the purpose of this thing? The purpose is not for the U.S. government to meet with President Weah. No, that is not the purpose. The U.S. government has been left out of its engagement in Africa. And the other piece I want to bring to your attention here is Democratic Party in the U.S. has been the greatest beneficiary of African immigrants coming to the U.S. majority of whom will always vote for Democrats. And yet this democratic government or the U.S. government has not been engaged in Africa in terms of trade and serious, or collaboration. They just been giving African people peanuts here and there. What Africa needs is investment in agriculture, infrastructures, those things that will create jobs for Africans. The U.S. has been sitting down. This is the U.S. that have been benefiting from African immigrants here in the U.S. Majority of Africans in the U.S. will vote for Democrats. Majority of Africans in the U.S. have acquired significant education and are contributing to America, considerably. In fact, African immigrants are the highest in terms of education. All immigrants in America who are getting higher education, Africa is scoring the highest mark, meaning that they are learning better jobs and contributing significantly to the economy of America. But this very America has not been investing in Africa. Whereas China has been investing, and of late, Russia has been going. So America, that has been seen as the world superpower, has been missing out on an entire continent that has huge economic potential. It has the highest number of youthful population in the world. Africa population is very useful. America has not been able to tap in the African economy. America has not been able to tap into the cheap labor that is in Africa. China has been tapping into it. America has only been tapping into the cheap labor that is in China. So while America is running after cheap labor in China, China is chasing cheap labor in Africa. So China enjoys cheap labor in China, and now China also trying to enjoy cheap labor in Africa. America has been left out. Who has America been trailing with? Europe, China, and these countries, the other world powers, see the potential in Africa. And so America now, looking at this variable, said, no, we can't be the one to be left out here. We have to engage Africa. So folks, the goal of the U.S. government here now is not to invite Liberia's president. So when we are talking about foreign policy of the U.S. government, the U.S. government is engaged in foreign policy for the benefit of the U.S. government. That is the preeminent or the primary reason of the U.S. government foreign policy, to benefit the United States, for United States to have a better image in other countries, for United States to be seen as the world superpower, for the United States to be seen as a force for good and a force of strength, as a military might. That is why the U.S. engages in foreign policy for its own benefit, for its own standing, for its need recognition. Period. It is not for the benefit for any country other than the United States and its people. So for the African summit that is being called by the U.S. government, is for it to benefit the U.S. government. It is not to benefit Africa. Yes, the U.S. government is going to spend some money, just as China is spending some money for China's own standing, something that U.S. has been left out. U.S. is trying to catch up here. The goal here is for the U.S. to counter China's influence in Africa, something that is making the Chinese powerful. That is the goal. That is the reason that the U.S. government is calling for the African summit. Bear you in mind, though, China have been hosting its China-African summit every 3 years. The most recent one was held in Senegal, where the Chinese president attended virtually. And China is investing over $40 billion in Africa, whereas America has been giving small peanuts here and there to African countries, just for it to be seen as Mr. Goodwill, and has been left out in terms of constructive global engagement on trade and other fronts. U.S. at this time is saying, no, we are not going to be missing out here. So here are the reason for that, folks. According to the U.S. President, Joe Biden announced Wednesday that he will host the African leader for a summit in Washington in mid-December. So this is going to be taking place from the 13th of December to the 15th of December. The reason the U.S. government African Leadership Summit is to demonstrate a commitment by the U.S. to Africa. Biden described as enduring. So he said Africa is enduring, so they want to engage Africa. He said that the gathering will underscore the importance of U.S. Africa relation. They didn't say U.S. Liberia relation, U.S. Africa relation, and to increase cooperation and share global priorities. So you see the reason why they are calling it? Biden added that the summit will help to foster economic engagement, reinforce a shared commitment to democracy and human rights, manage the effects of COVID-19 and future pandemics, and advance peace and security, respond to climate change, strengthen regional and global health, and promote food security in Africa. These are the reasons the U.S. government is trying to engage Africa and not Liberia. So President Weah is being invited by the U.S. government, by Joe Biden, just as Joe Biden has invited all other African leaders or some other African leaders. So the CDC cannot celebrate this as a breakthrough in terms of a U.S. president inviting a Liberian president. President Weah is being invited as a member of the African community. That is it. So that is completely different. So the U.S. intend to spend several billions of dollars to engage Africa this time around, because to counter challenge influence, Washington has planned to partner with G7 nations to ingest hundreds of billions of investment dollars in Africa. So the U.S. government is now partnering with the country like Germany, like France, and the Great Britain to pull this summit together so that they can invest billions of dollars in Africa. They don't want China to be the only one sitting here doing business with Africa. China overtook U.S. as Africa's biggest trading partner in 2019. And now Washington will partner with the G7 wealthiest nation to mobilize investment for Africa. U.S. President Joe Biden announced that on Wednesday, and he will host African leaders as a summit scheduled for December 13 to December 15 in Washington, D.C. So, folks, this is what it's all about. This is the U.S. trying to make a real comeback in Africa to take out China. This is the U.S. trying to run competition with China in terms of trade in Africa, in terms of engagement in Africa. That is what it is. Period. Now, let us look at some of the things they highlighted. They talk about the issue of democracy, the issue of human rights. So the money that is going to set aside to engage the African countries, they are benchmarks that these African leaders or countries, their credentials, their democratic credentials, their human rights records, these things won't be at the level that the U.S. can be willing to do business with them, the African leaders. So let's look at Liberia in particular. The U.S. government has a scorecard that it uses to deal with most African leaders in other countries in the world. Now, if you look at the Millennium Challenge Corporation, which is the institution or the program of the U.S. government that it uses to deal with other nations, especially in Africa or third world countries, right? They look at these scorecards. For example, in Liberia, economic freedom, Liberia failed. In economic freedom, when we're talking about fiscal policy and inflation, Liberia is failing. When you look at regulatory quality, Liberia is failing. When you look at trade policy, Liberia is failing. To do business in Liberia is difficult. Look at the issue that's going on with mental state. You know, the lawmakers, are they taking money? Are they taking bribe for them to, to ratify an agreement that would create jobs for Liberians? And President Weah the other day were talking about they saw where that it is his family. And you know, I mean, come to think about that. So Liberia is doing poorly. Now, when you talk about government effectiveness, the US want to do business with a government that is effective. Liberia scored 31, that is a failure, 31%. The rule of law, Liberia did not do well, you know, Liberia scored 50%, that is a failure. Then when you look at primary education, these are the things they want to invest money in. Primary education, Liberia is 27%, that is a failure. The management, the protection of natural resources, we're not doing well enough. Liberia got 19%. These are 2022 record I'm reading. All right. Then immunization, Liberia is not doing well with immunization. The last time I think you heard about how Liberia failed miserably, you know, immunizing our babies. Then we talk about girls' primary education. The completion rate in Liberia is 23%. It's bad. You're talking about child health. The percentage for Liberia is 23%. I mean, 33%. This is also bad. So the U.S. will always use this scorecard to determine how much a government is qualified for, or if a particular government is even going to be qualified for anything at all. But to the CDC credit, though, political rights, the CDC ranked 27. Civil liberty, the CDC, you know, they put it in the green category, that is better. Corruption control, I mean, I disagree with this one. You know, freedom of information, I disagree with this one. According to their scorecard, they say Liberia is in a positive category or territory. The issue of gender in the economy, they say Liberia is at 94%. They say because we have a female vice president, we have had a female president, and we have ministers in government. I think I agree with that one. I think we have a women participation in our leadership is good. Land right access, they say Liberia is in a positive category. You know, I don't know what they look at, but that is what they are saying. We're talking about expenditure on health. I disagree with this one. The Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Health, the corruption in that place is massive. Our hospitals are underfunded, so I don't know how they put Liberia in a good category when it comes to expenditure on health. Are they saying that Liberia is budgeting more money when it comes to health? I disagree with that seriously. How did they arrive at it? Access to credit in Liberia, they put it in a positive category. How is that possible? To start a business in Liberia, they put it in a positive category. How is that possible? I disagree with that. But again, they are the experts, but I happen to disagree, and the experts can be dead wrong too. Right? So this is not anything. I don't see the celebration here. The whole thing here is about U.S. trying to counter China, just as China is investing more money in Africa to increase its standing of what America is trying to do. America does not want to be seen as this country that is benefiting from the African immigrants in the U.S. The Democratic Party does not want to be seen as a party that is benefiting significantly from African immigrants here politically when it comes to voting, and not investing in Africa. And in fact, the Black caucus and the Black people in America, the Black people constitute a huge and loyal voting bloc to the Democratic Party. And all Blacks are from Africa. And so if America cannot be, the Democratic Party cannot be, giving the lip service to the Black community in America, it has to go beyond just, allowing Democrats, Black, to participate in the Democratic Party, but it should go back to where the Blacks have come from and carry on significant investment. It is all about how America looks good on the outside. That America looks better than how it sees itself on the world stage, not China trying to outsmart it. China is spending billions and America wants to spend billions. When you talk about billions, America is talking about, America is talking to France, America is talking to Great Britain, America is talking to Germany for them to put money together to invest in Africa. China is not doing that. China said, we got the money. China is into Africa investing billions. So this is America again, trying to look out for itself. This is America again, trying to look out for its citizens, how its citizens can be perceived in the world. This is what it is. Now, let me tell you something. Why do you think the British Broadcasting Corporation, BBC, has a program they call Focus on Africa, where they are focusing on African issues. They want to be able to tell you what you need to know so you can see them as good people. This is proper relation. This is called soft power. Look at their movies that they are making, and the Africans are watching their movies. Oh, Americans are talented. They have the strongest military, and the cities is looking beautiful and all. They want to tell you that they are better. That what they tell you, you should listen to it because they do things better than you do. Is the way of trying to control the narrative on the global stage, so you can succumb to them. This is global politics. These people are doing all this for their own benefit, to project themselves that they are better than you. This is what it is. It's not a law for you. And even at that, they will look at your credentials. And you look at Liberia, look at what's happened recently. Group of students tried to protest a government auxiliary group from one of the government officials in person. Jefferson Koji gave instruction for them to go and attack the children. They brutalized them. The U.S. government picked this up, and the U.S. government is in the know. We know this is a very U.S. government that has an embassy in Liberia. When Joe Biden sent his representative to Liberia during the what's it called, the bicentennial, the representative of Joe Biden talked about corruption. We heard the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, Ambassador Thomas Grayfield, who was also assigned in Liberia some time ago as U.S. ambassador to Liberia. She spoke about corruption. The U.S. government was part of one of the governments that sent a letter to the Liberian government that, hey, you stole our money from our account, put our money back. So the U.S., it is the very U.S. government that has been rebuking the Liberian government publicly about corruption. It is the very U.S. government whose camera pick up students or who officials and representatives in Liberia sees the brutalizations of Walter Sisulu. This is the very U.S. government we're talking about. This is the very U.S. government that has not extended invitation to President Weah. So to say that this is a big win for President Weah, it is preposterous. It is completely far from the truth. This is the U.S. government doing for itself what it wants to be known for in the world. It is not about doing business, with Liberia because Liberia is its traditional friend. No, that is not it. The U.S. government want to engage Africa and want to counter China. It does not want China alone to be seen as the global power in Africa that is trailing with Africa. Africa, because of our good weather, can be the best place to do business in the world, where you will have less disasters wiping away, wealth. Africa is that place. I'm not saying disasters don't happen in Africa, but you compare the disasters that happen in Africa, natural disasters that happen in Africa, to say America and Europe and all these places, there's no comparison. Hurricane in the U.S., floods in the U.S., the billions of dollars that have been wiped away by these hurricanes, and all that, you don't see that. So if you carry an investment in Africa, chances are that natural disaster, will not or will just take away very little of your investment. The only problem we have is that we don't have good infrastructure. The education level is low. So that is why we Africans need to invest in our infrastructure. We need to invest in education and prepare our young ones so that they can be able to compete in the world. Technology has taken center stage today. How we're doing with internet in Africa as a whole. My country, Liberia, is far behind. You're giving an opportunity now for Liberia to prioritize everything. I would say, let's prioritize internet. Let's build the best internet grade and fastest internet in Africa. In Liberia, let's build it right now. Since we don't have roads that cost so much money, to build the best internet grade in Liberia will cost about $100 million. $100 million can give Liberia the best internet or one of the best internets in the world. So I can be in Grand Crew, I have internet access, I can talk to somebody in America. I can do business with somebody in America. I don't have to worry about barrows. To pay roads takes so much time. And somebody who is educated and knows computer in Grand Crew can work for Microsoft, can work for Facebook, can work for any other company. That is what is happening in India. The Indians are in India. People are in Bangladesh. They are working for Microsoft. They are working for Facebook. They are working for other tech companies in the world, in the US, in other countries. Why they are in their country? All because of reliable internet. That will create jobs for most of the young people that are graduating out of college right now. What has taken our country this long to launch a massive computer literacy program across the country? What is taking us this long? I came to America before I could handle my own computer at the age of 32. Very sad. How many computers do we have in our high schools? Do we have computer labs in our high school to compete? So at the end of the day, when some of the investment fundings, are put together by the U.S. government, chances that Liberia might not benefit enough. How are we fighting corruption in Liberia? Now, if you contrast Liberia to Sierra Leone Anti-Corruption Commission was able to confiscate property from past government officials. It was able to retrieve over 25 billion leon from former government officials under the Managio administration. The last time, the World Bank and IMF awarded Manabio 400 million grant, free money they gave to Manabio, because the man is fighting corruption tooth and nail. He's doing a better job. And he has programmed. He launched a massive education system in Sierra Leone. The British government and some British people who are interested in education were there. And now I heard about a massive rice farming that is going on in Sierra Leone. So Biden is talking about engaging Africa in the era of democracy, in the era of justice, in the era of agriculture, food security. Who is in a better position right now? Who is fighting corruption? Who will be able to use the money for the intended purpose? Will Liberia do a better job compared to Sierra Leone? If Sierra Leone is going to do a better job, chances are that Sierra Leone, that has not been a traditional partner of America, will end up getting good money, because the people will be giving the money on the basis of your ability to be fair, to be transparent, and to be able to be effective. Already, the U.S. scorecard, the MCC scorecard, put Liberia as a failure when it comes to effective government. Who will want to give money to the government that is not effective? Agricultural ministry is rotting with corruption. We heard about reports here and there. We're talking food security. Why would they want to give money to an institution that been stealing already the money that it has been receiving? So chances are that because it's not effective, is corrupt, they might give us less money. We will not be able to achieve food security. That's part of the goodwill and the good platform the U.S. government is establishing. So these are the things this whole thing is all about. There's nothing to celebrate here. So, folks, I will stop this far. Take a break and bring in the callers for you to call. The phone numbers are, always in the strolling text below. Here is the number to call right now. That is the number to call right now. So please, if you wish to participate, that is the number to call. I'm taking a short break. When I come back, I will be taking your phone calls. And then after that, we will be calling a day. This is Focus on Liberia, and I'm answering here. A short break. We will be right back to take your call.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jah.
And I am Anthony Sie. I'm ready to take your calls. I hope you are prepared to place your calls. All is said here to take your calls. Let me see if we have a caller. We don't have a caller yet. Okay, since we don't have a caller, I will take my leave of you. I do not want to waste time here, folks. If you want to call, that is the number to call. If you don't call, you make my work easier. So, folks, again, in this edition of the Hour of Politics, I brought you two major issues. We provided political analysis on the Unity Party just in the convention in Bangabon County. And we also provided political analysis on the President Weah's U.S. African Summit invitation. This is not anything that actually means that the U.S. government is inviting Liberia's president to the White House. This is a meeting with African countries by the U.S. government. They are inviting African leaders, and Liberia having to be one of the African countries that is being invited. It is different from when the U.S. government invites Liberia's president to talk about Liberia, to engage Liberia about the affairs of Liberia. This is completely different. The Unity Party had a convention. It was peaceful, despite red flags. They said that they did not focus on, the party priorities. Those people who did not win because they were being accused of being collaborators. It was not on the basis that they did not achieve what the party had laid out as its goals to achieve during the administration of Ami Monda and Moali. It is sad that some people even went to the gutter of saying, well, these two guys are not Liberian enough, and they even went as far as blaming them for the Unity Party defeat in Lofa County. It was sad. If we can blame Ami Monda and Moali, who are not from Lofa County, why not blame Joseph Boakai as well? Why did Joseph Boakai go unopposed? When all of the failures, if they were to focus on failures, right? Why did you not think Joseph Boakai also failed? Because he as head should have influence to influence things in the Unity Party, to ensure that those leaders, were doing things that will enhance the Unity Party standing and increase its membership and make it the most formidable party. And so, well, that is how we would draw down the curtains here. So until we see you again here at Focus on Liberia, we didn't want to read comments. We wanted to take phone calls, and it's obvious you were not prepared to call. So the sun, we are all Liberians, is taking us home. Thank you for always watching. We'd appreciate you watching us all of the time and also giving your critique to the analysis we provide. Thank you. Enjoy the sun. We are all Liberians, and bye-bye.
We are Liberians.